My name is Sasha, and I'm 30 years old. I work as a sales representative for a company. I have a 32-year-old husband, Kyle, and 2 children, a small son named Andrew and a daughter, Anne. Kyle is an office worker who goes home on time. He picks up our children from daycare after work and does the house chores at night. However, recently, my relationship with Kyle is not going too well. I'm often away from home on business trips because of my job. Kyle doesn't like that, and when I come home, he continues to make petty complaints and we end up fighting. This caused our marriage life to be a little awkward. I'm home. One night, when I come home from a business trip, Kyle says this.
"You're late. What took you so long? You must be busy. But I'm exhausted from looking after the kids."
My husband suddenly blew up at me. Don't be so sarcastic. It's not like I go to business trips because I want to.
"Why don't you come home early sometime and play with the kids? They're always looking for you and asks for their mother."
I don't know what to say to that, but I have work. Quite a while ago, you were the one who told me to not worry about the kids because you'd be the one looking after them since you'd come home earlier. And for that, I give you the weekends off, and I always play with them on the weekend. Don't make it sound like I'm always ignoring our kids.
Well, I'm not saying that you're abandoning your kids. I'm only saying that you need to focus a little more on your family.
I know it's hard, but you've taken on the responsibility of taking care of the kids, so don't try to take back what you've said. Like this, every time I come home, there is an argument over the kids. I was in a state where I could hardly find a place to rest my mind. I felt like the stress was building up from all the complaints at work and the horrible comments made at me from my husband at home. Then one day, when I happened to be home, Kyle's phone, which was on the table, rang. I wonder who it's from. I looked at it and saw a message that looked like it came from a woman. What's this? It's not from his work, right? But I didn't really check what the message said. At the time, I thought it was probably from a friend and didn't take it too seriously. Little did I know that this would later turn out to be a big trouble. I still regret that I should have questioned my husband at the time so that my children would not have had to go through such a painful experience. In midst of all this, I had to go on a business trip away from home again. This time, it was going to be a long trip, 4 days and 3 nights. A meeting for a large project I was to take on was to be held at the headquarters of our client's company. This is a great opportunity for me to also build my career. Of course, I had told Kyle in advance, but our relationship had cooled down and we were not talking much, so we often decided to ignore each other. Before I leave for the business trip, I tell the kids, I'll do my best with work.
Mom, please play with us once you come home. I love you, Mom, because you play with us a lot on your days off after work.
The kids can't seem to wait for me to come home. My children are my first priority, and to be honest, Kyle's income is small and we cannot make ends meet without my hard work. I work for my children, and it is because of this that I'm able to work so hard. When I get back home, I will definitely play with the kids first. With this in mind, I headed for my business trip. The meeting went smoothly. As a result of my presentation, the client was satisfied and agreed with our proposal and gave us the permission to proceed with our service. When I reported the results to my boss, he praised me for doing a good job. Now, I could go home and see my kids without any worries. or so I thought. I was about to return home in the evening, exhausted from work. And that is when I received a call on my cell phone. Hello? I'm calling from the daycare center. Your kids have been absent for 4 days. Are there any problem with your kids? What? I tried to contact your husband every day, but he hung up the phone after saying that they were fine. I got a little worried, so I contacted you. That's strange. If the kids caught fever or anything unusual, Kyle would have called me like before. I called Kyle immediately, but his phone seemed to be disconnected. I had a bad feeling. I hurried home. When I arrived home, I immediately noticed something strange. All the furniture had been moved out and the house was empty. Huh? What? What is the meaning of this? I entered the house, looked around the room, and was in shock. To my horror, our kids were sleeping together in an empty bedroom on the floor. You must be joking. I immediately woke them up.
Oh, Mom, you're home. I'm hungry.
Both Andrew and Anne hugged me tightly. Where the hell is Kyle? I quickly took out my cell phone and called Kyle, but no matter how many times I called, I couldn't get through to him. I kept calling and calling, and finally, he answered the call.
What?
I heard Kyle's grouchy voice. What do you mean, what? What is the meaning of this? The house is empty and the kids are left behind? I don't understand. Where the hell are you?
Oh, now? I'm in the new house with my girlfriend.
My husband says in a flat tone. Yes, it was like as if he was just talking about the weather, like, oh, it's raining today. Huh? I could feel my brain refusing to comprehend what Kyle was saying to me. Girlfriend? A new house? He left the kids behind and went to his girlfriend? What do you mean, girlfriend? You mean that you've been cheating on me this whole time? I raised my voice and Kyle sighed.
Well, I'm fine with that interpretation. Anyways, I'm not going back there. I can't take care of the kids anymore. I took all the furniture, but I left the kids there.
What? I was speechless. Cheating and abandoning the kids. This is not just a cruel treatment to me anymore. It was also a cruel treatment for the kids too. The kids were hungry and crying. Anyways, you better get your butt over here soon.
The kids were just sleeping. If you're back from your business trip, you take care of them.
I felt as if the blood vessels in my head had snapped. You've got to be kidding me! How dare you say such a horrible, cruel thing after leaving such small kids behind with no one to take care of them?
You can say whatever you want. I don't want to take care of those kids anymore. See ya.
With that, Kyle hung up the phone. Later on, Anne got a fever, so we took her to the hospital.
I'm glad that you came home early.
I see. I was relieved when the doctor examined her.
But why did your husband leave the kids behind?
The doctor asked me as a simple question, but there was no way I could say that my own husband had abandoned me and the kids and ran off to be with the woman whom he was having an affair with. I just gave a vague answer and left the hospital. I was so angry that I wondered if there was any way I could blame Kyle for his irrational behavior. I couldn't imagine living with him anymore, so I decided to consult a lawyer for future consideration. Once the lawyer heard my story, he began to say this. That's terrible. Leaving the young kids unattended, all on their own. It also smells like a crime. He said that as he raised his eyebrows. So, you don't know where your husband is? Yes, he seems to have turned off his phone. I understand. For now, we need to find your husband's whereabouts. Let's ask a friend of mine to help us. The lawyer was kind enough to help and support me with my case. I took some time off from work and pondered while taking care of the kids and while the detective agency's investigation proceeded. Kyle had never been proactive in taking care of the kids. However, I never thought that he would treat them that badly. No matter what the excuse is, he shouldn't have done what he did to his own kids. And plus, he was having an affair. When did he find his girlfriend? Was he always flirting and being with her even when I was on a business trip and leaving the kids all alone at home? While thinking this, I got goosebumps all over my body and my anger took over. I could never forgive him ever again. He must get what he deserves. That's what I thought to myself. Kyle didn't run or hide, so his whereabouts were immediately known. He lives in an apartment in the neighboring town with a woman whom he is having an affair with. Kyle commutes to work from there. His girlfriend is a bartender at a bar, and apparently she's divorced twice, but she has no children. On Saturdays and Sundays, when my husband was free from taking care of the kids, he would go out to play darts in the bar, and he started going over to that bar frequently. And as you can imagine, he left the kids at home while I was on a business trip and started having an affair. His girlfriend was in debt, so she had her eyes on Kyle's salary, not only asking money for his drinks, but also asking money for her living expenses. I knew that Kyle had a really shallow thought, but I had never expected it to go this far. I looked up into the air in despair. On the evening of the day we discovered his whereabouts, I visited the apartment with my lawyer. When we knocked on the door, Kyle showed up. His girlfriend seemed to have gone out to work for the night and was not there.
Oh, so it's you.
Kyle glared at me as he said that. What you did is a crime. Can't you understand that? I suddenly cut to the chase. The lawyer also explained the importance of my legal responsibility as a parent to protect my children and the best way forward for our marriage, but it seemed like Kyle could no longer hear me.
I know. But I couldn't stand to take care of the kids anymore. I just wanted my own freedom.
Kyle was truly pathetic, and what he said was very unacceptable. To begin with, there are many men in this world who are raising several children by themselves. I take care of them all on weekends. And what's so hard about taking care of your own kids for a few hours after work during the week? And if it is hard, how is that a reason to cheat on me and leave the house? What you're saying is an excuse. What you're just doing is whining and complaining. Did you plan to become a criminal and run away if something happened to your kids? Did you think that life would go on like that?
How could I think that? If you, a woman, had stayed home to raise the kids in the first place, there would have been no problem.
What the hell is he going on about? I was completely appalled. I'm not doing anything wrong. I looked at my husband, who was unwilling to break his position, and gave up, thinking that he would never change. I don't regret having the kids, but I think marrying you, Kyle, was the biggest mistake of my life. Anyone who has no problem disrespecting the life of a child is not a human being.
Call me whatever you want. Now, I have my freedom to actually live my life.
Does he have no sense of guilt or remorse whatsoever? I was so stunned by Kyle's behavior that I was disgusted by his problematic words and actions. My parents-in-law, shocked by their own son's action, who had neglected the kids and run off with a woman, came running to me and got down on their knees to apologize. It was not their fault, but I accepted their sincere apology. It was my parents who were furious. Of course, they have the right to be furious. Who wouldn't be angry when their adorable grandchildren were left unattended for long periods of time? However, I offered to settle the case myself and asked my parents to stand back. After a long discussion with my lawyer, I decided to file a civil suit against Kyle and the woman with whom he had been having an affair, with a view to criminal charges for neglecting the kids. During the preliminary arrangements, Kyle refused to acknowledge the lawsuit. At the main trial, he admitted that he had left the kids behind, but he evaded, saying that he didn't intend to put the kids in danger. I stared blankly at the courtroom exchange. How could I have let this happen? I slowly thought back to the time when I met Kyle. When we first got married, Kyle was kind. He was a good person who respected my opinion, even though he was a bit of a pain in the ass. But after we got married and had kids, his attitude changed. Kyle did not like children in the first place, and I couldn't really realize that part about him. The trial didn't take long, and I won the case. Then, the police got involved and began to proceed to investigate the incident. My husband was questioned and charged as abandonment of kids under protective custody, and since it was his first offense, the charges were dropped. But this was a de facto conviction. I took this opportunity to ask Kyle for a divorce. Now, I would never see him again. After that, my parents, who were worried about their grandchildren, came to visit us frequently. The kids seemed to really enjoy seeing their grandparents, which was the best thing that could happen to them.
That was a tough time for you. I am so glad that they are safe now.
My mother looks back at me with a relieved smile. My father was still very angry, and he lashed out at Kyle at every opportunity. I also filed a claim for the damages against Kyle's girlfriend, but what was she going to do about it? It seems like she closed the bar, fled the apartment in the night, and I have no idea where she has been since then. I heard that Kyle was fired from his job after the incident and is now living alone in a run-down apartment. Either way, it is none of my business anymore. This huge incident was a shocking event in my life. I had never imagined that Kyle would abandon the kids and run off with a woman whom he was having an affair with. I realized that no one, not even you, can predict what can happen in your life. As I thought that to myself, over time, something had happened which caused my life to turn around. As you may have guessed, I was proposed for marriage again. He is one of my colleagues from the same company I worked at. He had been concerned about what had happened to me and had been watching over me. I was shocked and mentally distressed, but I was able to maintain my peace of mind by talking to him about it, and I gradually became attracted to him. I took the courage and asked him to be my boyfriend, and he accepted, knowing that I had 2 kids. Unlike Kyle, he loves and adores the kids. The kids also liked his kindness, and they adored him too, and we got married sometime after that. And few years later, I asked both of my kids, who are now a little older, about Kyle. They both vaguely remembered him, but they told me what they remembered is that Kyle had ignored them and kept on watching the TV even when the kids got hungry. Never underestimate the kids. They remember particularly about shocking or traumatizing events, including how they felt at the time. Perhaps it was a very traumatic experience for them. We have to raise our own children with responsibility. As I gazed at my kids playing with their new father in the park, I thought about the life that lay ahead.
I'm leaving you to be with a lovely, attractive woman, and I will give you a share of my retirement payment to my new wife. I'm disgusted with you. I can't help but laugh. I know how you feel. I don't care, but you will regret it. Huh? You're a sore loser. I never regret anything. I felt sorry for my husband. He doesn't understand anything. My name is Anna, a 62 years old housewife. I married for almost 30 years to my husband Tom. My only son Sam is already 28 years old and working well. And last year, he married a wonderful woman named Olina. They have a happy family. The time is that my child rearing is over and my husband retires in a few months. As a couple, we will be able to spend our days slowly. I'm thinking about the many things in the past. I and Tom have had our fights, but we have managed to make it so far. I was thinking about what kind of celebration for Tom's retirement day. You may have no idea, but I want you to agree to a divorce. What? Tom said it while we were eating. I'm tired of you. Did I miss hearing what he was saying? Maybe I'm getting old and my hearing is worse. Sorry? What did you say? I've told you, I asked you to divorce me. I want you to end the marriage. This time, I heard his words clearly. He wanted to end our marriage. I didn't understand what he meant. Wait a minute. What do you mean? Do you get a divorce suddenly? It's not out of the blue. I've made up my mind for a while. I'm going to leave you before I retire. What's the reason for that? I'm tired of you. What? What do you mean you're tired of me? It can't be helped because I'm tired of you. Wait a second. I can't get it. Please explain to me. Shut up. You're always bothering me. I'm retiring in 3 months, so get your old stuff and get the hell out before then. Wait a minute. It's too sudden. I can't deal with it. I resisted it desperately, but he didn't listen to me at all. He confronted me with the divorce papers. I have no idea when he prepares the papers. He had kept them in a drawer. I thought I would be living with him for the rest of my life, but it was too sudden, so I lost my words. I don't love you anymore. I don't want to live face to face with a dirty, spotted, wrinkled, bitchy old bat every day. Oh my God, that's awful. That's what you thought? I don't have romantic feelings for Tom anymore either, but I love him because of being with him for such a long time. How could he say such a terrible thing to me? I'd been a housewife ever since I got married. That's why I had no way to survive if Tom left me, so I couldn't go anywhere. Tom didn't care about me. After he finished writing his parts, he left the divorce papers in front of me and went somewhere. Tom has always been a bit of a husbandless man. He didn't do any chores or say a kind word to me, but it wasn't a big deal for our age group. He used to hold both my hands and say, "When you get married, you will join the family and support the house. Then I will protect this house and Anna." I had planned many things for retirement, like traveling with Tom, but now he was asking me to get a divorce. I felt as if I'd been left alone in the dark. After a while, I found myself and I was angry with Tom to divorce me for such a selfish reason. Even if we get the divorce, I want to discuss it completely and go through with it. I need to be convinced. After all, Tom did not come home that day, so I couldn't sleep enough. Today was Saturday, and he came home in the morning. I tried to talk to Tom, but he quickly went to his room. He told me not to talk to him because he was sleepy. What's wrong with him? He has acted this way before when we have had fights, but it was never like that without any reason. I wanted to know the reason why he was suddenly divorcing me. Tom finally woke up. It was past 5 in the evening. Then he went to take a bath right away, so we finally had a chance to talk to each other at dinner. Well, I can't accept you're suddenly divorcing me because you're tired of me, don't love me, etc. That's what young couples say. Tell me about the exact reason for the divorce.
Huh? I'm telling you, I don't want to be with a spotted, wrinkled old bat anymore.
That's not acceptable. I'm telling you.
Hey, come on. I put up with you being ugly because I'm gentle and there is no other man like me. I'm such a gentleman, but I've reached my limit. I can't live with an ugly woman like you.
Whenever I tried to talk to Tom, he kept saying the same abusive things to me.
Don't ask me nonsense. Tell me quickly when you are going to leave.
Are you listening? I can't be convinced, so how can I decide to get a divorce or leave the house? Once you give me a good reason for the divorce, I will decide what I'm going to do. Up until now, I've accepted his husbandly behavior because I was his wife. But if we are going to be a stranger, I can't stand my husband's arrogance. As I was not taking a step back, Tom said,
"That's enough."
He began to lie down on the sofa and turn on the TV. Excuse me, I still don't finish my talk.
I'm already done. Now you pack your bags and leave. That's all.
Then Tom stopped talking to me. He ignores anything I say and walks away from me, even when I stand in front of me. He stops having the meals I cook and starts to use convenience stores and supermarkets or eat out. I've tried changing the day and talking to him constantly, but he refuses me. When Tom would come home for work and see me, he would sigh and then spend the rest of the day as if I wasn't there. I wonder if there is any way to overcome this crisis. While I was thinking about this, I suddenly received a call from my son.
Hello, Mom. I'm planning to celebrate your birthday with Lena. I'm thinking of going out for sushi with 4 of us, including Dad. How's that?
I cried at the timing of Sam's call. It was as if a thread of tension had been broken. Sam was very surprised because I suddenly started crying.
What's wrong, Mom? What happened?
I told him that his father asked me to get a divorce. It doesn't make sense at all, but he wasn't to discuss the matter. Moreover, he was now treating me like air and then ignoring me.
Huh? What do you mean?
Sam said quietly, but his voice was angry.
I'm going over there for a minute and talking to my dad.
He came to our house that night.
Dad, what the hell is going on?
Tom was very surprised by Sam's sudden visit.
What happened? You came to visit all of a sudden. I've heard everything from Mom. What do you want with the divorce? We can't understand any reasons.
When my son said it, my husband stared at me.
You're the one who told Sam? You're a coward, you know that?
It ages since we talked to each other face to face. Because you have been ignoring and refusing to talk to me, right? If you had talked to me, we'd have worked it out, you and me.
Dad, I don't agree with you. I can't understand the reason for the divorce. Please take your time to talk.
Thanks to Sam saying so, Tom finally sat down to face me. Tom still stubbornly refuses to say the reasons.
I'm saying I'm tired of it. That's the end of it.
I was getting angry with Tom for saying such a thing, even in front of Sam. Sam was getting appalled. You don't even care about our time together as a family anymore. Remember? When Sam was a child, we used to travel around as a family, right? When I said this, Tom fell silent awkwardly. I said, Look, we have also a record of Sam's childhood and our family photos in this album. I showed it on the shelf to him. I thought it would remind of the happy time we spent together as a family. Then Tom put away the album. Enough! I won't change my mind whatever you do. I will divorce you. I don't care if I never see Sam. This statement was too shocking to me. I guess I can't have a serious talk with him anymore. Alright, then let's separate for now. Huh? What the hell are we separating? Divorce right now? I'm telling you, I can't get a divorce now. When we get a divorce, I will get half of the retirement payment. Why? That's crazy. I was with you for 30 years. I deserve to get that. Dad, you must pay that much because you're asking for a divorce in a selfish way. Sam said that, so Tom reluctantly agreed. He may think I won't sign the divorce papers unless he agreed. Anyway, we became separated like this. And Sam said, come to our house because Lena had given her consent. Dad has never done any chores, so he can't live by himself. If you live separately for a while, he will feel how much he appreciates you. Thank you, Sam. I'm really glad you came today too. Tom went out with a sulking look on his face, so I packed my bags and left home with Sam. Hi, Anna. It's been a while. I'm sorry, Lena. I didn't mean to bother you. Please don't take that way. No problem. Don't worry about it. Please stay as long as you like. Lena is a wonderful wife. Recently, my life with Tom was like living in hell. So the time I spent with my kind son and his wife was peaceful, comfortable, and happy like heaven. Why were you so reluctant to divorce Dad? I had a feeling that there were other reasons for him, so I was going to investigate. But I needed money for that, so I started working a while ago. I see. I'd have paid for the investigation. That's not how it works. I don't want to bother you by parents' selfishness. Besides, even if we get divorced, it would be better to have a proper job. Since Tom started treating me like air, I'd been thinking about what I would do after he left me. I had a bookkeeping license when I was young, so I looked everywhere for a job that would hire me, even if it was only part-time. I found a company that was seeking someone. They appreciated my experience that I had worked in the same industry for about 12 years, so I managed to get hired. All I have to do now is investigate Tom and find a place to live alone. That's my mom, but you don't have to find a room to live alone. What? When I and Lena heard about your divorce, we both agreed to live with you. So if you like, we will live together. Besides, it would be great if you could stay home with us. Lena rubbed her tummy saying so. What? No way! My son and his wife nodded happily. Surprisingly, Lena was pregnant. I was actually going to tell you on your birthday. I was more than happy to find out the birth of my grandchild. Then I had to break up with that man as soon as possible. I requested an investigation by a detective agency. I received the result of the investigation within a week or so. I was worried that the investigation was so fast, but there was solid evidence of infidelity. Tom went to a hotel with a young woman, invited her to his house, and did not come out until morning. Apparently, the separation had made him let down his guard, and he was hanging around with the adulterer partner. I went to see Tom with the evidence. What the hell? What are you doing here? I'm ready for a divorce. Tom's expression brightened when I said that. Finally! He handed me the divorce papers with a smile. Oh, by the way, I'm telling you, I'm not giving you half of my retirement payment.
I knew it. You would give it to the young woman, right?
What?
Tom was upset for a second.
Oh yeah, let's go to a hostess bar.
That's fine. You don't have to hide it. I know everything. Saying that, I showed Tom the photo as the evidence of the affair.
Why is this?
I hired a professional. You were having an affair. That's why you wanted a divorce. Tom was surprised, but he took the offensive.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to leave you and be with a lovely, attractive woman. And I will give your share of the retirement payment to my new wife.
I can't help but laugh. I'm disgusted with you. I know how you feel. I don't mind, but I'm sure you will regret it.
Huh? You're so a loser. I never regret anything.
I felt sorry for Tom. He didn't understand anything. I started to fill out the divorce papers.
It's great to finally be free from an ugly bitch like you. My new wife is in her 30s, but she likes older men. She thinks I have the confidence of an adult to handle things well. You know what I mean? I'm attractive.
I don't know. I finished filling out the divorce papers, answering that in my mind. I resubmit them. Then I headed for the front door. Tom was making a phone call to his affair partner. He looks very happy. Our son and his wife were waiting for me in the car in front of our house. They kindly thanked me for my hard work. Then I went straight to the city office and submitted the divorce papers. Finally, my divorce from Tom for 30 years was finalized. But my revenge started from here. First, through my lawyer, I demanded half of the retirement allowance and alimony as a division of property. Besides, I sent a content-certified letter to my ex-husband's workplace. It was the time for him to be retired very soon. According to the lawyer, Tom was angry that the employees looked at him coldly because of me. So his retirement celebration turned out to be a simple one. He had constantly refused to give me the retirement payment, but when I told him through the lawyer I was willing to go to court, he started to get upset. In the end, he paid me the retirement payment and compensation in one lump sum. This settled the matter, but Tom had more difficulties ahead of him. A few months later, Sam received a call from Tom. According to what he had heard, he had tried to remarry his affair partner, but she had run away just before he was about to marry her. Moreover, Tom's affair partner wanted to open a restaurant, which had been her dream for a long time, and asked him to pay out of his retirement payment. Tom was planning to pay out the money when he got his retirement payment, but he borrowed money to pay for it because the tenant he was targeting was very popular. He was told by an affair partner that he needed to sign a contract immediately. A few days later, after he got his retirement payment, he tried to withdraw the money to pay off the debt, but his retirement payment had been withdrawn and was gone. The tenant that the affair partner was trying to rent still seems to have the sign. It says a tenant wanted. It means Tom was completely scammed. The police have been notified and consulted, but even months later, nobody was caught by the police. That's a pity, but in the end, it was Tom's fault for having an affair, so I don't feel sorry for him. I will continue to work hard at my current job and live my life. I will take care of my son, his wife, and my grandchildren who will be born in the future. It will make me so happy. If Tom had not had an affair, he would have been able to retire properly, receive all the retirement benefits, and live a comfortable retirement life. But he was such a foolish husband. I think it would be better for her to be with her son's family than to spend her life with a jerk husband. I hope she will be able to live a peaceful and comfortable retirement life. Thank you for watching to the end. Please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.